feel really guilty and bad because I didn't expect things to get leaked like this at all. Okay. So, I guess you're just
But
showing.
President Sunday just went ahead and did it and tried to rope Nick into it, tried to rope Tom into it, fail on both counts. Probably Willie Mack if he could have.
To be clear, I think it is really bad.
Really
But
bad.
the issue is that I think it's fundamentally just a more common issue that people do. It's definitely, in my experience, not the first time that somebody has like leaked nudes. I think it's really bad. I think it's not okay. Like when you hear about like guys like showing other guys like tits that some girls shunter, like I think it's gross, and there's a reason I don't look at it.
I mean, that's I agree. It's
Let's check out the police story. Twitch streamer Cherry, who accused streamers yesterday of sharing private content without permission, says she's followed a police report on January 22nd. Two women accused Destiny, real name Stephen Bonnell, of sharing content of them online. Content creator Pixie was the first to go public. Actually, it was President Sunday that went public. And she everything up. She's trying to get a bag. She's trying to punish him and get a bag. Normally, you can't get a bag and punish, or you could kind of call the punishment the bag, but she wanted her cake and eat it too. And President Sunday couldn't have that. she wasn't going after Destiny for the righteous reasons. The righteous reasons were to be had by President Sunday. I'll be suing him. Let's say I'll be suing him for violating whatever code. Who cares? And discord intimate image for publication in private flex in Florida. A second woman, known online as Sherry, revealed she too discovered Destiny share intimate audio recording taken of me without my consent. Oh, Destiny, I know everybody says you're short, but you're tall in my mind. How about a shout out? Destiny had denied the allegations from Pixie, claiming the content was stolen from him and that he had no control over it being distributed. Leak happened without my knowledge, consent, or authorization. Yeah, but he sent it over to that chick. Oh, that's unbelievable. Well, we'll see how that lands in court. Sherry posted on X that she made a report to police that will be filed. I don't think he's going to jail. I don't think. That could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer. Be filed in 3 to 5 days. Despite trying my best, there was no certain way to submit the report to keep my identity anonymous filing. Yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Anyway, the door's already been kicked down. Being public is the only reason I was able to find out what happened to me, but I'm worried about the harassment moving forward and doing my best to do the right thing and protect myself. You go, girl. No bag for you. I will not post my own revenge porn online. That's a good idea. You could be charged for revenge porn. I showed parts of it to my friend to show them what was sent to me, and asked for help. Now he's being harassed for supporting and believing me. I believe you. This is harassment. People are allowed to criticize you on Twitter, even if it's a bad criticism. I submitted my report and evidence. I don't even care. Do you care? I don't care. Here's what I care about. Turkey Tom. Now, I've heard, who is this broad's name? Aphrodite, whatever it is, Aphrodite. I guess she goes on, she does the sweep job. Apparently, she's a big feminist. Of course, as I've learned growing up, Clarence Thomas lost his black card for being conservative. Apparently, Destiny doesn't lose his feminist card or get to take the nagging feminist criticisms if he's a good liberal boy. And it reminds me of a story I heard, and I don't know if it's true. The woman that accused Al Gore of raping her so many years ago. And it's interesting enough, when this accusation came up, Tipper left him right afterwards. That's interesting. Not proof of anything, but certainly interesting. I was told that somebody told her not to go forward with it because he was, quote unquote, too important for the movement. being in the environmental movement. I don't know if that's true. That's what I was told, and I believe it. I know the story Jordan Peterson's told about a communist in Russia being sent away because she's supposedly not loyal to the commies. Apparently she got railroaded. Apparently she got screwed. She wasn't disloyal, but it's times of Stalin. Beats what Stalin normally did. And apparently her daughter said to her, she wrote her a letter and said, look, I will write you if you tell me that you're in there falsely, that you've been falsely accused. But if you tell me you've been accused credibly, I will never write you again. For my loyalty is to the Communist Party of Russia. That brought so many wonderful things to Eastern Europe. Her mother, who apparently was innocent, wrote her back. I was correctly accused of this crime. When she was asked, why did you lie to your daughter? Why did you tell her you'd gotten the shaft? Why you hadn't gotten railroaded? She says, because I couldn't bear the thought of my daughter not being in the Communist Party. Something tells me this is the kind of mentality we're going to hear. Let's listen to Turkey Tom.
So Erudite, or Kyla.
Erudite.
She's Destiny's co-host of the Bridges podcast. She has a business with him. And she also was seen in the DMs interacting with Pixie, the alleged victim of the allegations. And basically she wanted to talk to me about her position based on the fact that there had been a lot of DMs leaked where it looked like she was kind of trying to, at least from my perspective, initially cover for Destiny and maybe help him out and quell the situation from going public. So she wanted to talk to me about that. And this video,
Turkey Tom's got power. Well, it's great because Turkey Tom was, that's probably why they hate him on Kiwi Farm so much. Turkey Tom was considered a white wing kook for so long, and now all these lefties are going to him to get the word out, to use his platform, to make a difference. It's so funny.
Is that interview where we talk about it, we go into the DMs, we talk about her perspective and her intention.
Have sex in the dark. Not only can you not be recorded, you can't imagine you're anybody. Also, anybody that records himself having sex thinking it's going to be hot, it's probably going to be two people that barely know how to fuck at the end of the day. It's just going to look ridiculous.
And I questioned her a little.
I don't know why that's hot. That's so weird to me. I definitely wouldn't do it. And I would have done it when I was good looking and skinny. I can only imagine how horrible it is now. But that's the thing. When me and my wife, who are fat and old, sleep with each other, it feels great. And it's a wonderful, intimate experience, but we don't have to watch it later. We can kind of forget about the whole thing.
A little bit on a variety of things regarding the situation. So I think the interview will mostly speak for itself as far as whatever people want to come to conclusions on. But yeah, without further ado, this is the Erudite interview. She personally said, hey, I saw a video where you said Destiny Erudite. I can understand how you came to that conclusion from the information that's available and the framing that's going on. If you're open to hearing me out, I'm down to talk to you about it in private. I'm also comfortable with you recording it and using that for content. I like you, and I think you're one of the few unbiased and responsible commentary YouTubers.
Imagine how they had to get on their fucking knees to say that to him. It's so funny.
So I feel like you might be open to getting my side with extra context and information.
Why didn't you go to Nick DeOrio?
So we're going to be doing that. No word from...
By the way, I'm sure Tom does his best. I heard some criticism of Tom. I'll criticize Tom where I see fit, but what is he, 21? I don't think he'll sweep, but he probably, if I had to guess, I haven't seen it yet, he's not going to pin her down.
No word from Big D, but this is, I guess, the best.
Erudite choked a little bit in that message, I'm sure.
We're going to get for now. I think he said he wouldn't be talking about this stuff, pending certain legal action, so... We'll talk to her about it. We'll see what she has to say. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
It's been a day. Been a long day.
Yeah. Just to let you know, I'm recording already in case there was any question, just so it's totally clear. So, yeah, what did you want to talk about the Steve stuff that's going on?
Steve stuff.
Yeah, I figured I wanted to reach out to you.
I thought you wanted to talk about Cyrex pooping his pants. That's what I thought. Here, let's flip the lolcows.
You know what's funny is y'all act like y'all ain't gotten sick before. So what's the big fucking deal? Why fuck with me? Huh? Why fuck with me, dude?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Y'all can't tell me that y'all motherfuckers ain't got sick on stream as well, dude. Y'all cannot sit there and tell me that there's not been one time where y'all ain't gotten sick. So sit down and shut the fuck up.
Okay.
As I said, just because I think you're probably going to be the most fair, but it also seems like so I'm only really going to speak probably to my side, and then if you have questions, I'll answer what I can. And I guess like the main thing for me is it's when people are looking at the texts that I'm sending back and forth with Pixie, they're getting like a very clip-chimped version of the exchange. Just so you are aware, I've talked to Pixie about an hour and let her know that I was talking to you just to get consent. So I asked her basically if I could give you DMs.
I'd do it too. I would totally tell you to talk to Tom so I could clip him Tom in court.
Basically be like, the way I'm getting painted here is like really, really far from
Tom tore up all of his Destiny posts and threw them away.
the truth, and I don't really know why.
You look like Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh! 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 Ow! I hope that's not the only one he throws in there. Ow! My God Almighty! Tom does not softball. Not that one. I heard he did. I don't hear he softballed. I heard that there's certain things he could have done. But whenever I've done these interviews before too, somebody's always going to get you. You went soft, you swept, or something like that. Fairness.
No.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll maybe start with like the first. So I called Pixie and she
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Just let's blow that off. I took the breath out of her.
It was like, I'm so
You can't go so hard where you scare him away. Correct, Mr. Miss. I'm glad you're with me on that.
sorry. And just so it's clear,
And that's pretty hard right off the bat.
you can text her as well if you want, like on Discord, and confirm like everything you want with her. Like I'm not like she's totally fine with it. She mostly just feels really bad about this. So this was the text that she sent me today, just so you have an idea of like where I'm coming from, and that she is like agreeing. She knows that I'm sending you these texts. The only thing is that if there's receipts that you want to ask for, I'm happy to give them. I just want to make sure that I send them to her as well, because I feel like it's like the one thing that hasn't happened in this whole situation is like her consent being included. So
Yeah, it's her story, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but she told you she could do it. So why are we having all this? I know. I'm trying to avoid criticism.
Yeah, so I just want you to be clear that like I'm being above.
I am ass
very
covering.
intentional about that.
Ass
If there's things that I
covering.
don't answer.
A bullet could not get through to my ass right now. You could fire. You could have a firing squad, and those bullets would just bounce off my ass.
I
Okay.
apologize. There's just
So
like,
I can show this text you're sending.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me see here. So this says let's see.
Erudite's the one with the funny eyes, right? She's got one going this way, the other one going that way. So I got a genie here.
Here. Hey, I'm still worried for you. Are you okay no matter what? Please never hesitate to reach out. She says, hi, Kyla. I'm sorry for not getting back to you earlier. I've just been really overwhelmed with the situation. I didn't consent to President Sunday receiving those messages at all. I feel like
you know what's great about President Sunday, and I so want to show this to you, and this might be the best outcome. This guy has made his whole life getting back at Destiny, his entire fucking life. I want to point something out. But now, this isn't a little bit of views, but if you look, it's only 80K. It's going to limp over the 100K line, and people are going to make more money on it than he does. And the best part is, and I put myself, one of the small little cogs, to make sure that this guy's not a fucking hero. And I'm glad that Pixie's seeing to it too. And I here's my feeling. She was trying to get a bag. She was working with this chick right here that Tom's talking to get it back. But she wasn't going to do it directly. She wanted to do it through Nick totally exposed him. Yeah, I didn't get to watch Nick's stream last night because I was asleep. She did it through other people. They made the demand, so it didn't make it seem like it was all about money. It's real funny stuff. Real funny stuff. It is possible. This situation, more than anything, proves without a doubt, no doubt at all, that everybody can be bad in a situation like this, including the victim.
They painted both of us in a really bad and untrue light. I really appreciate that you care so much about me and have been checking on me.
And
So
President Sunday does not get the W for this. That's the such funny part. I mean, he'll get paid for that. He's 80K, it's a couple $100, whatever. But he's not the fucking hero. Everybody sees right through President Sunday, which is that's the best part of it for me. That's the best. Because he is an insufferable douchebag.
often just asking if I'm okay. I don't think you'd go that far if you didn't care. I feel really guilty and bad because I didn't expect things to get leaked like this at all. Okay. So I guess you're just showing.
But President Sunday just went ahead and did it. And tried to rope Nick into it, tried to rope Tom into it, fail on both counts. Probably Willie Mack if he could have thought of a way to do it. And apparently Dan Saltman too, and that's kind of cool.
Here that you guys are on good terms, basically. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess the biggest question for me would be from the DMs.
He tried to rope Becky to big, like I don't know if you guys heard what I said last week. I couldn't be more. I think I had every reason to be mad at Beckett, but when he explained it to me, I actually think he took one for the team, and he went from somebody that I don't want anywhere near my community or me or my friends to somebody who I am glad is in there. I do believe he told me the truth.
And I did prepare. I pulled up a bunch of them, so we can kind of, if you don't mind, we can go through them. In a moment here,
that'll be perfect. I can kind of show you the context around the DMs that you have as well.
Okay, perfect. So the biggest thing for me is that it looks like you're essentially playing mediator for Destiny so that he doesn't have to directly talk to the alleged victim. It looks like that's what's happening here. You're playing mediator. You're trying to diminish consequences for him. And diminish sort of culpability for him by not having him have to admit anything outright in a DM in regards to what happened in the situation. The situation being that it seems to be the case, at least, that he essentially got an explicit video of them together and then sent that to someone.
Got a Beckett fans in the chat, huh? I had a few people write me. I'm glad you guys get along. I like you both. I think you get along. I didn't know Beckett all that well. All I know is all the good things I heard from Matt and all the bad things I heard from Verse. But I think Verse just likes picking on him. I don't think he really hates him.
Without her...
I just heard Verse in my head. No, Tommy, I hate him.
To your knowledge, is that true? Did he do that?
Okay, so I'm also...
President Sunday's being a self-serving turd. Yeah, he did not care about the victims. Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
So just to be clear...
He cared as much as this broad.
Already told Destiny that this is what I was going to say to you as well, so everyone's just like fully considered, and I can again show you all the DMs of me letting him know that this was what I was going to be saying.
And Destiny, I will not defend you, I promise.
When I confronted him,
I don't want to get banned from your chat.
In Miami in like early December when I went down in person because I wanted to talk to him in person, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I asked him, did she know you were recording, and did she consent to it? He said that she did know about the recording, like she's aware, she did consented to the actual filming of it, but he said specifically, probably not. Like it was 3 years ago, I don't remember specifically, and like things were open like this, but yeah, probably not. I didn't get like explicit consent. And I said, Stephen, that's really fucked up. Like that's not okay.
That's not okay. You're in kindergarten. That's not okay. Do you love how these people talk? That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay, little Tommy. Give the ball back. It's not okay. How come all these serious people talk like children? Or talk like they're talking to children? It's not okay.
And so...
It's not cool. It's not okay.
Just to be clear...
Who talks like that? That's not okay.
He would say, I didn't completely say, but I read that very strongly as him acknowledging that he did not have consent to give it.
Right. Okay.
She's gonna grit her teeth when she sure did not have consent to give it.
I guess the biggest question from there would be once you had that conversation with him, and that was, you said December of last
early
year?
December. Yeah.
She's talking like his mother caught him sticking crayons in the family cat's butt. Do you have some insight on that? Please call in sometime. I like strange people calling in SFTP. Your local cryptid.
2024?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys had that conversation. How did things develop from there?
Yeah, so I was notified. So when the leaks happened, I was having like a community event. So I wasn't actually aware of the leaks until I think just like honestly.
Something community made. I was shaming men. I was telling people how to live their lives. And I was telling all these other people that don't agree with me are essentially evil and probably akin to the Third Reich or Mussolini's Italy. And then
Like a random person messaged me being like, have you seen this? And I was like, no. I still actually haven't looked at the leaks. I have like personally just a policy about never looking at like leaked nudes and stuff. But that's back. So this is back.
What annoys me is the actual sweeping, like he didn't actually leak them and even specifies publicly. Well, I guess, yeah, he didn't leak them for revenge. And you know, let the courts decide that. I had somebody say that to me today, right? But he did share them without permission. And look, guys, I'm older than you. I never filmed myself having sex. I only took a picture of my penis once to send it to my wife to freak her out on stream because I thought it was funny. And she didn't. But we're married. And it was funny. I think it was a drinking stream. I've never done that. I don't understand why people do that. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. I don't get the rush, I suppose.
Back before I talked to Destiny
It's not like you get a donation for it, you know?
Pixie, that's when I reached out to Straight Right.
But no, he didn't leak them. He didn't use them. He wasn't like, fuck you, I'll put your news out there. Like, but he has done that before.
Because I was hearing.
According to President Sunday. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad has this been compared to other YouTube drama? You're asking me personally? Bad at all. I don't give a fuck at all. Nobody got killed. If you want to talk like optics, how it'll affect him, it's absolutely destructive. It's tremendously destructive to Destiny's brand. As far as like how bad it is, it's difficult for me to get upset about it because of the people that are involved. And it's not because they're liberals, it's because they're sanctimonious assholes. It's just like everybody's getting it who I don't like. As far as taking somebody, like, you filming sex with somebody else and you have an agreement that's between you, or you did it, like, not, I mean, yeah, I guess I could sit up here and pro clutch and say it's the worst thing fucking ever, but I think that goes without saying. You get what I'm saying? Like, it goes without saying. I'm more interested in the funny. I'm not here to tell you. I'm not here to moralize. I'm going to let Destiny do that. I'm going to let this broad do that. I'll let all those liberal or conservative YouTubers or libertarian or tell you what's right and wrong. That's not my job. I don't even care if you vote. Remember? I don't care if you vote. It's not my way.
That it might be Pixie, and
You know, do you really need me to tell you it's wrong? It goes without saying.
I figured if it was her, I was also hearing that she's saying it wasn't her. And so I was like, if it was or wasn't her, I don't really want to put her on the hot seat with like me talking to her and making her feel confronted. So I'm just going to like check and see, because to me, if he didn't even have consent to record the video, then this is a whole different ballgame. Like it's a whole different plan of action of like how I am going to process what's going on.
Right.
But one process she's not going to take is quit. You know, I can understand. She's here to fix her image of being, you know, Miss Maxwell. I can't see that woman's first name. And saying, look, she's working with the victim, so that gets her off the hook.
But to your knowledge,
And
he did
so-
have consent to record, just not to share it.
Yeah, or at least consent to have it. I don't know if he recorded it or she recorded it and sent it to him. I'm not actually familiar with like.
Do you think people still defending Destiny can still have a career? Yes, if they're nobodies. Yes, probably. You know, it depends. It depends on the situation. Depends on I did a whole show on Cloud Capital years ago. That's how I met Mudahar. Depends on how much Cloud Capital they have and how they do it.
How the video was made. But yeah, it sounds like he had consent to have the nude in the sex tape, but not to send it out. That's what Aaron said to me. And I was like, okay, well, thank fuck he didn't record somebody without
Aaron
them even
is
knowing.
Straight Raid?
Yes, Aaron is
Okay.
Straight Raid, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So you found that out. Sorry. You
I
go
text-
All I can tell you is don't defend Destiny. He doesn't want you. Told you don't want it. He's going to ban you from his chat.
Texted Pixie. Yeah, so after that I texted Pixie. So for context, Pixie and I have been friends for like well over a year. Like we're not just two orbiters. but we worked in PV together. When I'm in Miami, I hang out with her all the time, independent of Steven. Like, we have our own friendship. We've been good.
Yeah, she's trying to like, I'm good with this girl. I'm not Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm her friend. See, look at my friendly tweet. I care.
Friends for at least a year. So as soon as Aaron confirmed to me what was going on,
Oh, you fucked him too? Oh, let's go out for coffee.
I was like, okay, now I feel comfortable like checking in with her and seeing how she's doing. Texted her, and she basically like immediately told me like everything that was going on. And I was like, okay, holy shit. I believe let me just check because I don't want to give you wrong information. I believe we've called a bunch because I checked in on her a bunch as well.
No
It was
rush.
all over text. Yeah.
Whether she is being Ghislaine Maxwell or not, which she kind of wasn't, she's definitely trying to save her own career and her own podcast and her own relationship with Destiny. She certainly was trying to do that. And can you blame her? No. Can you hold her accountable for who she would, like if this was somebody in the political sphere that she didn't like so much, can you come to the conclusion like, I don't think she'd have the same attitude here. I think she would be demanding action. Yeah, you could do that too.
It was not on Discord, it was all over text. Okay. So December 12th, I texted her and I was like, hey. She was like, hi. And I said, do you want to chat or just have a friend? I'm really worried about you.
Yeah,
She
this
responds.
is once you found out about the stuff that was going on with the
Once I
videos of
found
her
out.
being public.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I reach out. I don't know. You don't probably need me to read everything, but basically she tells me that she's feeling a little bit suicidal, but she's not planning to kill herself immediately. And she's like trying to figure out like what to do about this situation.
I'm gonna kill myself. I'm thinking about it, but in the meantime, I gotta get things organized. And what do you do if you hear that? She's her friend. You call the police. I have a friend. Somebody leaked her nude. She's having a meltdown. She's threatened suicide. So what do they do now? I'm asking the question. Do they negotiate after this? Like I'm thinking I'm having suicidal thoughts. That's it. Game over.
I respond, that tells me everything. I'm really sorry. I won't begin to tell you. I understand because I don't, but I do care. And I do want to see you safe and find peace. Do you mind if I ask to spend some time with you? She said yes. We make a plan to meet up. And then we meet up. December 13th, we're talking about the time. I send her a restaurant. We go against that one. Malua.
December 13th? I think I knew about it in November.
Okay, Friday, December 13th. There we go. Friday,
you guys
December
met up in
13th.
real life and had
I
a
just say I heard about it in November. I didn't know shit. And no, I wouldn't have fucking leaked it anyway.
conversation about how to proceed.
We gave it to Nick.
Yeah, and how she's doing. Because at this point,
Had you talked to Destiny, Steven,
No,
about this
I wanted-
stuff?
I had heard about it at this point, and he had basically like the only thing he
Erin might have a background in psychosocial work or something. She's not only she got mental health services, she has to, and she didn't. That's interesting. Yeah, but I mean, like, that's just common knowledge. That just shows me that her heart wasn't in it, and she wasn't like she was, you know, trying to do what's best for what was for her, and her career probably relies on Destiny. Once suicide comes up and says, "Sorry, like this, your life's so important," and by the way, that's the right way to act. But maybe she didn't buy it either.
had said is being like, "Hey, I'm worried about Pixie. Like,
She's a therapist, and she didn't call right away. That's interesting.
I think she's suicidal. Like, you should, like, if you."
Can you imagine being a guy going to her for fucking therapy? Being a white guy. You know what your problem is? You're white, and you're male and heterosexual. Maybe if you didn't do that so much, you'd be happier.
If you want, you should probably check on her. And I was like,
He
"Okay, thank
told
you."
you that he was worried about her being suicidal.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
you
but
then
again-
go check up on her. You meet up in real life, and what?
Yes, but I
what-
texted her beforehand, just to be clear. I'd already texted her about wanting to meet up and talk anyways, and
Yeah.
he just gave me the extra information. She's suicidal.
Okay. How did that
yeah.
conversation with her go?
I can't believe Tom didn't pick up on that.
It went honestly really, really well. I will say, so like part of when I went into it was I was trying to evaluate like how suicidal, how serious the risk was.
Well, she's the expert.
And like where she was at.
According my chat.
Just because I don't know if you're familiar with my background, but I've obviously had a lot of experience with suicidal people. And so like the first goal for me was to be like,
Do you have a doctorate?
Are you like an acute risk to yourself? Like what needs to happen? If not, what can we do instead to kind of help you get out of like this place? In that conversation,
were you treating her?
Basically, she kind of told me about how
I guess she's Canadian. You keep on hearing she's a foreigner.
she's been suicidal like most of her life. How she's
Even if she's unlicensed, she goes to apply for a license. This comes up in the background. She's fucked. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll take your word for it.
been struggling a lot. But the concerning part to me in that conversation, I guess, like what more specifically was pertinent was she was actively cutting off friends so that to prepare for suicide. So she was cutting off friends so that if she did and opted to kill herself, it would hurt them less. So at this point, she had broken up with a couple of friends and stopped responding, and a couple of friends were trying to hang out with her and she wasn't responding to them.
Let me ask you, put it one in the chat if you agree with this. If this was not her and somebody else, can you hear her demanding that the person talking to Pixie cut Destiny off immediately? Can you hear that? I can hear that. I just keep hearing that. I don't hear it the same. I don't hear, like, I hear her saying, as soon as she's suicidal, call the police, get somebody involved, not evaluate yourself. I could just hear the lecture in my head because that's all these people do is lecture. They're just horrible people that haven't fucking barely lived themselves, just lecturing other people.
Don't think she probably wants any of the names of the friends leaked. At least she said, like, please don't give any of the names out. So you can check with her separately if she wants to give you names. But yeah, just different friends in Miami. Yeah,
that's fine. I believe that she was suicidal over having her news leaked.
I don't know if she was or not, Tom. How about that?
And before that,
but Tom's more famous than me, so he has to say that. I don't know what Tom believes. Tom believes. I believe Tom believes what Tom believes, but I just can't. I don't.
Okay, so
yeah.
It doesn't really matter whether she was or not. I mean, she's every right to be pissed off, and I don't really care that she went to get a bag. But it's just like this: if you're going to get a bag, and you're gonna, be the feminist hero, it's like I don't know if I'm buying it.
So importantly, though, she had a stockpile of pills. So I asked her straight out. I was like, okay, so I need to know, like, do you have means? Like, how would you if you're planning to do it, do you have a plan? She's like, yes, probably pills. And I was like, do you have...
women always do pills. They're pussies. They don't put guns in their mouth like men do. Because they're worried how to look at the coffin.
Of the pills right now. And she was like, yes, I do. And I was like, okay, that's pretty serious. So we continued talking, and basically I shifted into, like, I'm not gonna lie, like a side intervention conversation where basically you talk with your friend.
I was thinking about debating her out of roping, but I think I'll do the opposite in court now.
How things are going on, you understand them, and you try to find things that they feel tether them to life, right? And so one thing that she really cared about is she does care about her friends. She doesn't want to hurt them. Another thing she cares about is she does want to see, like, some level of, like, justice for the situation. She thinks what he did was wrong. And to be clear, I agree with her. I've told Steven that. I've told her that. Like, I've never minced words about being like, yeah, he did something really wrong here.
To be clear, going into that conversation, you didn't know that the video was shared unconsensually?
No, because Aaron had already told me, like, a week before. So I was already aware. Yeah. I wanted to talk to Pixie, and then I wanted to talk to Steven to see how he would respond afterwards.
Okay, so during the conversation with Pixie, did she, because you talked about her suicidality, did you guys talk about other stuff in terms of, like, how she was feeling about it or her recourse? I mean, you said she wanted to seek justice. What she think?
I don't think Tom's doing a terrible job here. I was a little worried. So far, so good.
What, a lawsuit at that point in time?
So we talked about a bunch of her options. She was like, she had looked into a lawsuit at that point. I don't know how much I can say about her lawsuit, but basically it wasn't something she wanted to consider for a couple of legal reasons that I probably would let her describe. But one reason I think can be fully public would be that she didn't want her name out there. I think she said that in DM.
You could teach an ethics class, Exodus 103, how not to ethics.
To Steven as well.
Okay.
that got leaked today. So she was very worried about if she does a
You're
civil
pretty funny tonight, chat. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. 6 more to go for the goal.
suit, her name will have to be publicly attached to the
That
civil
doxing goal is going to be expensive. I'm just going to tell you.
suit. And
I'm
so she
going
was
to
like, I
dox
really
myself.
don't want to consider a lawsuit. And I said, like, I guess I'll show you text as well where I reiterate this, but the entire time with Pixie, my entire approach has been, you get to steer the boat. Like, you get to decide how you want to respond, and you can decide that you don't want a lawsuit today, and you can change your mind a week from now, and all of that's okay. Like, all of that's okay.
Okay.
We talked about how she could maybe talk to him like privately, but she was really nervous to. So this is where she basically was like, I can't remember if she brought it up first or I, but basically her being like maybe you can see what he'd be willing to do like for me. She was like, I feel like you really, really understand emotionally where I'm coming from. I did a lot of like paraphrasing of like, it seems like your biggest concern right now is like justice because you feel like you've been wronged and there's no direction for you to correct the situation, and you've been betrayed by your friend in like a pretty major way, and there's nothing for you to do that doesn't kind of publicly implicate you.
When she's saying betrayed by her friends, you mean President Sunday? Who's she talking about? Oh, betrayed by Destiny. Okay.
And so you want to work with him privately to find a better resolution that you feel at peace with. She's like, yes, that's exactly
Right.
what I want. I want to
Okay.
know that he's not going to do this again, right? That was her orientation in the conversation. So we talked about a couple of strategies about how she could do that. I was like, you could message him. You could go through like other people to message him. You could go through a civil lawsuit. You can take 5 days and just like think about it. Like, you don't have to decide right now, but just like let me know what you'd like. And that's when she was like, yeah, I think I'd really appreciate if you just like told him where I'm at, communicate like emotionally. She's like, I feel like when I communicate with him, like he's not understanding it. I don't feel really understood. And I feel like you do understand me. And I said, okay, yeah, I'm happy to
Wait a minute, I swear. Me, I just want blood.
communicate how you're feeling to him.
Okay. So then from there, you go and talk to him. At which point
Destiny have female friends or just women he's fucking? Probably women he's fucking.
you already know from based on what Strader Aid said that it seemed like it was shared unconsensually. What did he say?
I think she confirmed that. So Pixie also confirmed that when we met.
Okay. All right.
And
So
that's when he said to me, so when I confronted him, I said, did she agree to it? And he said, probably not. It was like 3 years ago, so I don't remember exactly. And I didn't think it would be a big deal, but yeah, probably not. So I took that as him saying, no, to be clear.
Keep in mind, this chick is running around telling everybody like you don't have to sleep with Destiny to get a foothold in this community. It's so funny to me, and that bothers me, to be honest with you, that she was running around telling people that, because in a weird way, it kind of leads people to Destiny. Like they go in thinking that that's not going to be the case, and it was the case. If you want to get a jump, you want an edge, sleep with Destiny. It's just the way it was. Now, I'm not saying Destiny set up some kind of casting couch or something or anything like that, or did anything like that, but that's essentially what it was. And by lying to the public and saying that's not the case, if I can do it, you can do it, while you're sleeping with Destiny, you're just leading more girls into his arms. You see, you get what I'm saying?
He never said to me, I guess, explicitly no, which is probably something that he might take contention with. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So you guys have.
So I got no sympathy for anybody. Anybody. She wants to get justice at the courts award or stuff. Wonderful. Great. I'm sure, yeah, sure she deserves it. But I don't want to be lectured by these people ever again on anything.
a conversation.
Not this broad, not Destiny. I don't want to hear about, women's rights. I don't want to how to treat women. I always thought it was right. I said it before on this channel. Like, why would you listen to somebody on how to treat women who's a womanizer? I never understood that. I guess I'm crazy.
So at that point, Pixie wants some kind of justice, doesn't want her name out there. Obviously what Steve's position is. Where does it go from there? From here, you kind of start mediating conversations between them and what he wants versus what she wants.
Well, at first I basically go like a big part of this was, okay, he said to me, like in my recollection and my perception of the conversation, it felt like he was saying like more or less like, I mean, yeah. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, this is a big
I'm hoping this shit don't come out.
big fuck up. Like,
Did he
this isn't
recognize how
okay.
bad it was?
You fucked up our whole podcast. What are you Why did he get nagged? Imagine Destiny just getting nagged and nagged. Oh, what did you do? We had a good thing. You fucked it up. You had to fuck that girl. What's the matter with you? Can you hear it? I can hear it.
Was?
Yes. He's like, I know. And I was like, it's really bad. And he's like, I know. And he was like, he's like, okay, I don't know. I think publicly he hasn't said what he's doing like legally behind the scenes. So I like literally can't tell you that, but he told me a number of things just because like I don't want to get caught up in a lot of the lawsuits in part. And
Did he really say, somebody tell me, did he really say that he was going to sue Kiwi Farms? I keep on, is that accurate? Am I wrong? Destiny. Did Destiny say he was going to sue Kiwi Farms? No. Because wouldn't Kiwi Farms be sort of protected the same way like a journalist would be protected? Like a Pentagon Papers thing? I don't know. Yeah, he did. Someone talked him down. Oh, okay. Yeah, because like that doesn't make any sense to me because they're just a platform. First of all, that's not true. Anybody can be sued. Whether it's going anywhere is a different conversation. You can sue anybody for anything in the United States, anyway. Whether they win or not, that's what you're talking about, historic.
Secondly, I think if some of the things get public, it could like implicate part of what's trying to be done from both sides.
Yeah, because if the guy who hacked is the guy who committed the crime, and he may have committed a crime by sharing that intimate stuff. I don't know if that falls in a red branch for or not. I'm interested to see how this thing works going forward. It's going to be an interesting topic for the next couple of years. But from what I understand, it's sort of like a Pentagon Papers thing.
Do you have a clip of that?
The guy who stole the intel is the criminal, but the New York Times is not. So why would Kiwi Farms be? What did they do? They received it and published it. Kiwi Farms don't publish. They're just a forum to allow people to publish. Yeah, I don't know. Nell already started a lawsuit fund? Interesting. I don't know how the Kiwi Farms is guilty of anything. And I guess he can't fucking if he sues Kiwi Farms, can he bitch? Is erudite not so erudite? I think so. Yeah. Can he bitch about Julian Assange?
Sides, I think. As far as like
Julian Assange was a hero for getting that video collateral murder out there. Can't say that anymore, huh?
Investigation and stuff. So, he basically like told me what he was doing. Behind the scenes as far as like what to do. And then I was like sitting there being like, okay, but like, what did you say? Like when she first approached you, I was like pushing him and he was like, fuck, like, I don't know. He's like, if you want, you can just read our entire DMs. Like I can show you our entire DMs of like what I said to her so that you know like how I responded. And I was like,
the hacker does matter if he gets caught. It doesn't matter. It probably doesn't matter to Destiny.
To be honest, I would appreciate that. So
are these the same DMs that already got leaked or is this a different conversation?
Fuck, I would need to look. I think almost all of the exact ones that got leaked, except rather than it being like clipped up into little images, it would be like the entire thing, and like their whole conversation, which has lots of extras in it, but more or less I think what's been leaked.
Okay. And what was your impression of that conversation once you read that?
Basically, I read that as, okay, so he knows that he's done wrong. And when she brings it to him, the first thing that he does is basically say, I'm really sorry. Like they're
oh, hey, I'm number 6. That's how many beers of deep I am. Good job, Final Fantasy.
No excuse, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm glad that at least like when she's talking to him, he's like fully acknowledging like he fucked up here. Him and I read.
Anyways, there's no hacker. Yeah, I don't know how much the hacker matters to Destiny. I mean, if you catch the guy hacking Destiny's account, I'm sure he could be held accountable. But it's probably the last thing in his mind.
Through some of the plan, I think some of the plan is probably excluded, like what he's doing, like behind the scenes and legally. And he also talked to me about the money offer, and I was like, "Why did you offer her money?" And he was like, "Well, I just
shut her up. Why did Trump pay off that broad? Didn't even work. So he offered her hush money, and he wanted Trump to go to jail for hush money. It works in so many different ways.
Just like he's like, I know it looks scummy, but I also know she's like applying for LSAT, so I just figured like it's not much, but it's something I can do to help because if
I were him, and I don't know what he's worth, I would have dropped $100,000 that day. That fucking day. Now, I don't know how it works. I've never been rich before. Her and her husband were the Christians who prayed about having an open relationship. But yeah, I'd have paid her. If I was in his position, I just would have paid. Wouldn't try to talk her down. Wouldn't try nothing. The problem with paying her, she might ask for another, another $100 large. Who knows?
She's fucked. Like, she got fucked over. She did nothing wrong.
Doesn't that kind of read as like him offering her money for some benefit in exchange for her silence?
To be honest, I really didn't read it that way. Particularly because it's like caveated with like, I know that this looks scummy, especially now that I have full context. I realize the idea actually came from Aaron, and then he suggested it to her, like, I believe within an hour, if I'm looking at the times correctly, like he immediately suggested it to her. So it's coming from somebody now I realize even that was in his mind talking to her and communicating like what she wanted. And my understanding as well is that was something that is probably the right thing to do. Like he should.
Yeah, 100K is check well. If he even came back when she probably would have too. Good point, Katzaflacken.
Probably if she's like doesn't want to go public or anything, and because of that she can't like sue him. If he's remorseful and like wants to take accountability for his actions, he should like probably pay for therapy and like probably her living for a while to like help her out, basically. Like that's
It's like a divorce.
that seemed like
You can marry this broad.
alongside the other stuff that he was doing, to be honest, like the right response, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I guess the concern for me is like, Pixie, I mean, in her own statement, she said that there's, two or I think she said 3 people total, her and 2 other people that he's seemingly done this to. And I mean, obviously it's her decision whether or not it goes public, but the problem with it maybe not going public at some point is, he doesn't face actual repercussions for his actions, which is like public scrutiny, right? Because
Could she have hired a lawyer to work out a price with him?
if he gets it in his head, he can just pay his way out of these situations. And to be clear, he has enough money to do that. He can pay for her law school and still be okay. It's like, what incentive is there for him to not do it again in the future if he thinks he might be able to get away with it?
Yeah, this is why when I talked to Pixie, I told her like if you want to sue him, I like support you in doing that. I've
When I saw he's pursuing stuff against a guy who hacked, he isn't really a hacker though. He knew the Rose Gold sent the stuff to IRL. Okay.
never said anything different with her. I think that's like fully within her right. I just know for her, I guess to be specific, she explicitly told me that if this stuff became more public, that was the thing that made her want to kill herself. She was terrified of like family finding out. She was terrified of like friends and stuff finding out and like seeing this content. And she was like, that was the thing like driving her suicidality, was the publicity of it, which is why she didn't want to go to like civil court. Right. So then I'm like, what's if the publicity part is attached to the suit, which she said she talked to lawyers, I just believed her. It sounds like that's also correct. Then it's like, what's the next best thing for her?
It's interesting she was so humiliated as soon as this President Sunday video came out. She was like, I'm taking him to court. She's all right? She's doing okay?
Because I think that she deserves something. But
so what was your kind of goal throughout all of this? Because obviously puts you in a very awkward position where on one hand you're trying to help out your friend, but at the same time, I mean, you're I don't know if you're employed by Destiny, but you work with him. Obviously,
we
he's
co-own
helping
a
you out a
business
lot.
together.
Yeah, right. So like what kind of position are you in at that point? Like, how are you feeling? Are you thinking like, can I continue working with this guy if he's doing this kind of stuff? Are you thinking of cutting him off? Like, what kind of position is that putting you in?
I mean, before I sent the message to Aaron, I was talking to my husband, like to Nick, and I was like, if he recorded somebody without their knowledge and sent it out, like I don't think I can, like I don't know what to do. I don't think I can work with. That's a line I can't. I don't fuck with that shit. Like that's insane.
Pretty insane already, lady. We passed a little crazy a long time ago.
And it sounds like, I know recently, like Cherry has made some statements. Just to be clear, I don't know anything about those leaks, and so like, I don't know. I need to figure out what's going on with those additional leaks, because like a pretty hard line for me is like if somebody does according to somebody else, that's a pretty hard line for me.
Right. Well, even outside of the recording, I mean, the question of whether or not the recording was consented to. The spreading around certainly wasn't.
2 days ago, 170. This video got more views than President Sunday. It makes me feel so good because he was trying to screw Tom, trying to screw Nick, and they made more money on President Sunday. And President Sunday still looks like a stupid slob that he always was. That makes me feel fantastic. Everybody did something with it but him. And he did not improve his reputation. There's no future money. There's no big story like this. He has shot his load, as they say in the business.
And from your perspective, is that enough to draw a line
100%.
or no?
It's not for me. The issue is that what was a line for me before, I was like, okay, if she did consent to the recording but not to the spreading around, which I'm assuming that she hadn't, then I said, what matters to me is like how he responds. Is he trying to fix it? Is he being remorseful? Is he like reaching out to her to like find some level of solution? If that's like his initial response, that to me is a lot more meaningful. Because
Well,
it's like,
I guess
okay, well,
I
you
guess my
fucked
question
up.
would be like, why do you draw a line there? Like, it's not like he slipped on a banana peel, you know. Like he was in one of his goon sessions and he decided to send a video to some random Discord e-girl of Pixie engaging with him. Like, why would
This is what could happen to you, baby.
obviously he had to have known that, you know, whether or not he was the one to leak it to the public, he had to have known that he's running the risk of that video being publicized when he's sending a video of, you know, him and another person.
Whatever you do, don't send this video to anybody else. You promise? Did I see my email about Ricada? No, I did not.
Sexually interacting to someone random that he met on Discord, or even someone he may have trusted, right? Like, if Pixie didn't consent, he had to have known he ran the risk of that being publicized in some way, considering how, you know, how much public scrutiny there is around Destiny, and frankly, how many people would love to have a video of him engaging in that, as we've seen from the Twitter stuff, right? Like, would that not be is that not something he should have been pretty, I don't know, forward thinking about?
Yeah, I agree that like the issue is like, it's not that I'm not saying it wasn't a fuck up. Like I
It was 10 minutes ago. I was streaming at the time. DM King, I'll check it.
agree that it was a fuck up, and I think it was a massive betrayal of trust.
Don't forget to like the stream.
Just
Thank
to
you.
me, like recording somebody and then
One more
without
to
their
go.
knowledge and leaking it is like a full on, like it's a pretty like sexually invasive crime. Leaking somebody's nudes, I think, is also really bad. To be clear, I think it is really bad.
Really
But
bad.
the issue is that I think it's fundamentally just a more common issue that people do. It's definitely, in my experience, not the first time that somebody has like leaked nudes. I think it's really bad. I think it's not okay. Like when you hear about like guys like showing other guys like tits that some girls shunter, like I think it's gross, and there's a reason I don't look at it.
That's, you know, that's I agree it's less severe, but
Is she saying boys will be boys? Really? Oh my God! No! That bitch! You can never lecture me! Never! Stick it up your ass! This is a common problem. You know what guys are.
you know,
So
this
that's
isn't
why-
this is,
that's
but this
why the
isn't a
line's
bunch
there.
of this isn't a bunch of high schoolers, right? This is a
Yeah!
35-year-old
Our Tom's doing fine.
guy who's doing this.
Sure, but the law and morals are different, right? In the case of like recording somebody against their consent and then releasing it against their consent is a totally
Congratulations, everybody. We gotta go. We got to go. This one's gonna be a tough one, though. Thank you. We hit the goal, new goal. But I'll give you something. But this one's gonna be a tough one. I ain't doing this easy. It's really, really funny. Hold on a second. I can't believe that bitch. This is a big one. This is yellow or higher. I don't expect to hit it. I should go 20. But I'll just go 10. I will dox myself. You know I keep my word. Nope, I will dox myself. There it is. This one's a tough one. Don't expect it. Won't be mad at you. Gotta put a little grease on that baby. And I'm not gonna say another goal. I will dox myself.
different action to me than like having it sent to them and then thinking it would stay private because they're sending it to somebody else and giving it to somebody else, which they shouldn't have done. Like these are just the intention and everything behind it is a lot different to me.
So is your concern entirely the legality versus the morality? Like, is the morality not really a big question for you?
No, I think morality is a really big question.
It's just not that big a deal. It happens.
But I'm saying that basically, to some degree, I suppose I'm saying I agree with the law here. I agree with the law drawing a line here saying like this is a even more severe action. Both are really bad. The issue is that one of them is like criminologically bad and the other one is like, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Okay.
I don't see the difference, but hey, you know, I don't have much experience with suicidal people, and you know, I'm not as smart politically as you, but you know, maybe my stupid, white, insensitive, part of the problem ass just can't see the difference.
Okay. So you were okay with working with the piece of shit, to be clear.
I was willing to work with somebody who fucked up.
You know, this is the best thing. You guys aren't going anywhere. Your fucking podcast is done. She's still hanging on.
And then also showed remorse and was like willing to try to help the person.
She wants to show forgiveness. She thinks everything's redeemable. Is that it? By the way, I agree with that. I'm not joking. You think do I look like I'm joking? I believe in redemption too. When do these people ever care about redemption? When? It's not when Crowder gets in a fight with his wife. No, they never care.
Person that he fucked over and correct it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess moving on from that interaction.
See, this is minor technicality of sharing news, and one of them I can work with it, and the other one I just can't. Like, fucking, who are you kidding, lady?
So where did the kind of conversation go from there once you had gotten his side and gotten her side? You, at that point, a lot of the DMs seem to be you kind of mediating.
I mean that when I say I do think people can be redeemed. I don't know about this situation. I don't really understand. I just don't understand people sharing fucking sex acts with each other. That's the whole thing. And I do believe, and it's one of the things I hate about the woke left, is there's never a path to redemption unless you become one of them. And if you become one of them, you can be protected for an action like this. That's why I'm not down with these guys. This is why I don't buy their empathy. This is why I don't listen or pay attention to their demands or believe them. They're anything other than virtue signaling. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Talking to her about what she wants versus what.
This thing is pretty stupid. If it turns out, you know, somebody else is going to come out of woodwork in this shit too. What if that one crosses the line? You know, I mean.
But Steven is willing to provide and do. What was your kind of perspective on those interactions? Before we get into the specific stuff, I guess just overarchingly, what was your goal there?
Sorry, I think I'm not understanding.
Again, I want to point out with President Sunday that the people he thought were so indebted to Destiny didn't need him or care about him as much as he thought, and it blew up in his face. And Tom made all the money.
Good question. Could you just rephrase it?
I guess okay. What was your goal past that point? Once you found out what he had apparently done, and you seemingly got confirmation. Once you found out how her feelings were on it, what was your goal past that point? Was it just to help Pixie out? Was it to
she's watching her meal ticket circle the drain? I know.
Protect Destiny from the.
See, the thing is, I could I would be totally here if this was, let's say this wasn't a political cast, and one of these people lecture you on how to live all the time when it comes to sex, relationships, everything, right? And she was trying to save her job. I'd be like, she's trying to save her job. Trying to save her job. But these guys don't get a pass because they're moralizers. Sitting there with their collar.
Allegations?
No.
You know, I mean, why would I feel bad for Destiny? Like, conservatives shouldn't be moved from every platform because they laughed at Nancy Pelosi or Paul Pelosi. Fucking the biggest whataboutism argument I've ever seen.
Oh no! So like this is the biggest frustration. I don't know if you've seen the Fairy Queen leaks or whatever. I don't know. why people keep saying this. They keep saying that I asked her to delete the comment, but you can just read my message. I explicitly tell her I'm messaging her because I don't want her to remove the comment. I want her to remove the identifying piece where she talks about like friends, because I don't want anything that could narrow it to Pixie, because the main thing that Pixie has said to me over and over is the publicity piece. So the only thing that I have cared about, by and large, has been following what Pixie feels that she needs in that moment, right? Listening to like what she's asking for. There are certain things it's possible that she could ask me to do where I'd be like, I'm not comfortable facilitating this.
Let me read this. I get why you're mad at me. This is erudite. You're way mad at me, and that's fair. We've got our differences, but I wanted to ask you to think about the people involved in the leagues. I've been talking to them, and I really want as little attention as possible. Your comment is kind of confirming that it's them, which they're denying, and drawing more attention to it for their sake. I really appreciate if you consider removing the part. Wouldn't it be like, why didn't she say, that's a really stupid thing to say? And if she, and she'd almost like, I'd almost believe her if she said, because if they figure out the friends are, they're going to put it on, they're going to figure out the rest of it and the victims. But she's not saying that. Do you acknowledge that Melina is claiming Steven shared videos without her consent? Have you confronted Steven privately about this? Will you disassociate from sharing other women's sex tape without their consent? Gotcha. I'm not an extensive Steven, and you're not a feminist? What the fuck? None of. What does that got to do with anything? Thank you. First one towards the goal. Obviously, you want to see me stop. Making up for years of watching yourself, Tommy. Time zones never lie. Remember, erudite is woke left plus Christian. Really? Oh my God, that's like doubly worse. Are you kidding me? So you get lectured from both fronts? You get told how to live by both fronts by somebody who doesn't know how to live? No, I hate getting lectured by these Sunday school teachers, and I can't get lectured by these woke lefties. Imagine it hitting you on both ends. It's the best of both worlds. My God, man. It's the best of both worlds. You're the best around. Nothing ever gonna let you down. You're the best. My son Ben will come do you. We'll watch that one later. My son Ben's gonna do you. My son Ben, he'll do you. He'll do you. Oh, that's too funny. He said she's not just awful, she's doubly awful. Oh my God. I had no idea she was a Christian kook.
Saying something like,
well, actually, really, it fits perfectly if you think about it. You know, I've been saying that most of these woke lefties are, because they remind me of the Christian kooks that I couldn't stand. I was all set to be a lefty. I was ready to go. I remember 1989, 20th anniversary of Woodstock, peace and love, man. I was bad about it. I was gonna piss off my Reagan dad, and then he got divorced, and I saw him fucking absolutely get hosed because he was a man, and then changed me.
like, please don't make my name public. Please don't address it publicly, and please like try to keep it as quiet as possible. 110% I'm going to do that. Like, no question.
So you say the Fairy Queen leaks, do you mean is this message, right? Let me just to confirm with you.
This message does not help her, and it does not even say what she said it said. Like, I'm trying to shut these people up because I'm trying to protect Pixie or whoever, and she doesn't even mention the victim in this. I don't believe you.
Yes. So if you read, I get that you're mad.
No, she confirmed it.
That's fair. Your comment is kind of confirming that it's them, which they're denying and drawing more attention to their. And really,
them? Your comment is kind of confirming it's them. Does that really get her off? Which they're denying? I thought it was her.
Appreciate if you considered removing that part of your comment, right? Just that part.
But did they need to protect them or her?
The reason that I didn't just delete it immediately, because I'm fine with the discussion of it. I'm fine with people like talking.
Does anybody generally believe Erudite confronted Destiny? Yeah. No, she did. She said, that's not okay, Destiny. It's just not okay. It's not okay. I'm sorry, Destiny. I'm through with you. I'm done. This is a bridge too far. Goodbye. Good luck. Click. That didn't happen here either. Here's what happened. You idiot! You ruined the podcast! You ruined the podcast! That's what happened.
About whether
I'd
Destiny's
say that's the most likely.
a piece of shit. I think all of that is really valid. But what's not valid is like making Pixie's plight worse.
Well, she's a Christian. That's how she can give Destiny a road to redemption. A redemption road Destiny wouldn't afford everybody else because he hates Christians.
That's not valid. And like until she decides that she wants
Unless
to
they're
go
woke.
public, I'm not taking that from her.
Right. So
I'm not
here,
taking
Fairy
that.
Queen
You're
asked.
not taking that from her. What do you mean you're not taking that from her? You're taking whatever the fuck you can get. Because if you don't, I'm not taking that from. What do you mean? That just shows you're not that empathetic. I would imagine if you want to defend somebody that's screwed up this big, you're willing to take a lot.
Asks, they say, do you acknowledge that Melina is claiming Steven shared these videos without her consent? Have you confronted Steven about this? Will you dissociate from him for sharing another woman's sex tapes without her consent? You said, gotcha, I'm not an extension of Steven, you're not a feminist, and you blocked her. What, were you blocking her because...
This girl said you're not a feminist. So what? Jesus Christ. It's like when people say to me, you're not a real football fan or you're not a real hockey fan. That's how much I would give a shit about her. Like, you imagine that? That's like that Cardinal Carrick, the one that molested all those kids, told me I wasn't a real Catholic. Good.
Does it seem like she wasn't going to edit her comment, or because you didn't want to answer these questions publicly? Like, what was the concern here, I guess?
It basically seems like, so Fairy Queen and I have a history, just to be clear.
Oh.
A really weird history.
Awesome.
Where she constantly is accusing me of things and then coming to me behind the scenes to like help with suicidality.
You told me you've been born a couple decades later after his petty got hosed and divorce, he might have chosen transition to avoid getting fucked over. I don't know, man. A lot of those Gen X liberals are pretty fucking conservative in Trump now. A lot of guys I knew flipped right after 2016.
Or certain things, and the reality is that if like
Especially the working class ones.
somebody's life is at risk and they need help, I'm just going to give it. I'm always going to give it. And so Fairy Queen at this point and I had two separate interactions where she had come to me because somebody she knew or a friend of hers was suicidal and she was looking for like steps about how to handle it. And I helped her every single time. One of the times was also a mutual friend, like Xena. All that stuff is very, very public. I did a lot of the similar stuff with Xena. I met up with her. And with Xena, I actually spent a night at her house just to like keep her safe when she was really distressed. Xena, I also did like multiple safety calls for her, where like I reported like as she was attempting like to the police and stuff like that. So Fairy Queen has this weird dynamic where she keeps coming to me for help with stuff, which I'm always willing to, but then she'll also be like, but why are you such a piece of shit? Why are you friends with Destiny? He's a horrible person. And I'm just like, look, like if somebody needs help, I'm always willing to. There's lots of things I disagree with Steven about. But yes, I am still willing to work with him.
Her advice is horrible. She's lucky about Pixie not being dead. I don't think that was ever in the cards. Hey, you never know. And I wouldn't be able to take the chance, but I have a feeling that Aphrodite felt the same way I did. Otherwise, she would have called the police immediately when this girl said she was going to hurt herself. I don't think anybody, including Destiny, believed that for a second.
So that's part of what's driving this. When she like sent all those questions, I was like, oh, so every time she said like one thing that she really cares about is women, I don't know if I believe her because it seems like she's willing to hurt Pixie to like get at Steven. And I'm not interested. And at that point I blocked her and deleted the comment.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, with that out of the way, I think the thing I wanted to go over next would be all the text messages between you and Pixie that got leaked. Now, before we get into that, I guess my question would be from you. Do you know the way that these text messages, it looks like iMessage, do you know the way these texts got leaked? How did this end up getting out? Who was this?
Yeah, I do remember that. He came on and did a show with me, if you guys remember. Right after that. Told me to lay off a boogie.
Sent to that ended up sending it to someone that ended up getting it publicly. What was the chain of events here?
It sounds like Pixie sent it to Aaron, trying to like basically like this is what Kyla's saying. Pixie and I have talked. She's also willing. Her and Aaron aren't talking anymore. But she is willing to, like, if need be, obviously she wants to be as publicly implicated as possible.
She is Canadian.
So
Thank
if you
you.
need it, you can probably reach out. But
Holden
also,
Siegmeyer, thank you.
I don't have it because I didn't ask for it. But basically, she was constantly telling Aaron, like, what do you think about this? This is what Kyla's suggesting. And Aaron was saying, like, I think she's being snaky. And Pixie was being like, I don't think she's being snaky. I think the only text she has is because those are the specific screenshots that Pixie sent to Aaron. I'm not 100% confident. From my understanding, Aaron directly leaked them to Sunday. I think Beckett of Crabs or whatever, he covers all the leaks on stream. It sounds like
Is that our Beckett? Cope and see?
Sunday got them directly from her. I don't know how
Different Beckett, right?
Beckett got them. I think some people are saying it. I think
Is that our Beckett? Is that the same guy? Because I don't know Beckett that well. Yes, that's our Beckett. He got him. They were all over the fucking place. I'm pretty sure, like, look, here's my knowledge. I was told when the Dick Sucker video came out that there was more. So I'm pretty sure if little old me, who's never been a bread tuber, never been on the Bread 2 shows, the closest I guess would be Stardust. But that thing was just a lot of fun. I won one of her, I don't know, Bread Tube offs or what have you. But that was just, no one was talking serious issues. You know, she just wanted to introduce me to a dude and so we could all rap. She's the only show I would ever do like that. But I don't think I'd ever do anything. I don't feel a need to I don't care if you believe what I believe. These people do. She don't know how Beckett. Nick said a party not even mentioned. Nick said a party not even mentioned yet. Oh, really? I don't know about that. Nick doesn't tell me everything. Here's another thing, too. Like, Nick tells me, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. He's in a lot of trouble. And I go on with the rest of my fucking day. You know, if it comes out, I'll come. I'm not on the ground anymore. I really haven't been on the ground since 2018. Nick just took that job away from me, took it to the next level.
Been through smug.
I mean, think about it. He's better at it. I knew something was wrong with the Zaptai situation. And then that's 2017, 18, 19. It wasn't until like 2-3 years later that it all came to head. But I knew something was wrong. But I guess I don't have those skills. And I don't care that much. Fucking 40-year-old man.
Because Aaron's good friends with Smugbug. I don't know, though. I have no idea how Beckett got the DMs, and I don't know if Nicholas got it.
If Beckett had him, I think, I don't know, maybe Beckett's, I don't know.
From Beckett or from Sunday or like what the transaction is after that. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure everybody had them. I don't think Nick ever had a copy of them, but I'm pretty sure everybody had them. Because if Beckett went in there thinking, oh my God, he's going to try to shoehorn, some of my friends into this, maybe I could talk some sense in him or at least get Nick and him on the phone. Yeah, they were probably all over the place, if I had to guess. Nick only had one screenshot? Is that what he said? Yeah, I didn't know that. I never saw. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, Nick never even told me he had anything. He told me what happened, and I said, hey, you got a screenshot? He said, no. No, he did. That would have been kind of weird, right?
Okay. And I haven't seen Pixie directly talk about Sunday or I guess maybe Bad Empanada is someone that people are talking about right now. But I saw her...
He's a winner, too. Fucking change his tweets to make people look like pedophiles and stuff. Yes, I'm on the sex offender list. That guy's a winner. Everybody's just horrible. Horrible people.
Just let me find her tweet real quick. In her thread, she had said something to the effect of, let me see here, I've got it. Okay, so she said, if you're a leftist who has talked about the situation without so much as contacting me, you owe me an apology.
Did she get her apology?
Being a victim of revenge, I now have to deal with people lying about my dating life and further dehumanization of me. I know I shouldn't elaborate more, but I think one of the worst parts...
lying about her dating life? Strange. Maybe she just threw that in there. Who's lying about her? You don't really need to.
So what's happening is learning how so many people...
I suppose somebody could be, but whatever.
I genuinely thought were my friends or so...
Destiny's fans? Don't listen to her. She's a whore.
Easily willing to betray me. I don't understand what I've done to them to make them want to treat me like this. So, do you know who she's talking about here? Or is she not willing to?
I'm speculating it's Erin. I didn't ask her specifically. I would speculate Erin. I know she's feeling. She basically. I called her tonight, and she was like, "Kyla, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "Erin backstabbed me. Like Erin backstabbed me." So I'm assuming it's Erin.
Nick apologized because he didn't like what Sunday did. He told Beckett to apologize. I don't know. I'd love to know the ins and outs of that, but I'm not sure.
And Erin is a leftist, but I genuinely have no idea. I would assume though.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, do you want to get into the text?
Sure. I think it's probably worth saying because I think people are like the biggest question people have is like why I'm sticking around Destiny.
Yeah.
And so I just want to like answer that question. I think a little bit more
I'm
extensively.
trying to look. I got fucked too. I'm trying to milk this goat as much as I can. Can you blame me? Like I don't want to be like that loser Tommy C that gets so close with like Baited and lolcow and just misses. You want to be a loser like Tommy C? No. I'm trying to milk this shit. That's what Tommy C should have done. He should have stayed on lolcow live.
Which is if something else comes out about the leaks, which is like more pernicious or criminal, I realize like I probably won't, but I don't engage with friendships in the way that it feels like people are kind of expecting me to, maybe in the public. I'm really staunch about
I don't care what you do, bitch.
like rehabilitation and like journeys and processes, which means that like if I have a friend who's done a bad thing, they're
this is sweep. I'm sorry. The sweeping thing, I've said it's overdone. I said I will sweep for my friends 100%, but of course there's a line. Like, this is a sweep job. All right, this is a sweep. Don't give me your motherfucking psychological mumbo jumbo. Jesus.
they're not like dead to me. I'm not just going to drop them immediately.
Oh,
I'm
Beckett apologized to Pixie. Oh, okay.
going to confront them,
I
usually in a
don't give a shit if he did or not.
way that I think is most productive, particularly if they've done something that I think not just violates like my values, but their own values. This isn't the first time I've confronted Stephen.
Here's the thing. I don't think Beckett does a thing. In fact, I think Beckett does it the right way. I think Beckett talks to Nick. I think Beckett does everything he's supposed to, for the most part. I hope. If he didn't know that guy was going live, there's a 100% chance that guy was going live with it. And he didn't care who he hurt. Didn't give a fuck. And he was going to do that. He didn't care who he hurt, why he lectured people, why he lectured Nick. Basically told Nick, if I put this out, you're going to be fucked. All your friends knew and they didn't do anything. So maybe you want to let's paint a narrative that you came to me begging for forgiveness. I'll let you off the hook, Nicky boy.
Been on different things. It's just the biggest thing that I've confronted him on. But there's been multiple times, like even in this like cutie Cinderella drama where he started like making fun of her. I was like, why are you doing this? Like this isn't your values. Like this is something you don't believe in. He's like, yeah, you're right. Right. So I think if everyone just disowns people immediately for wrongdoing, like nothing works. I have like my entire dream is to like work with high risk, like my entire career previous to this was working with like drug addicts and juvenile delinquents, like people who've done really, really fucking bad shit. And so I don't know. I understand why people may be confused because maybe they don't feel similar, and I don't put this on anybody else. Like nobody else has to orient themselves towards Stephen or anyone else who's done something wrong like I do. But basically, the moment that I saw like remorsefulness, accountability, and like a step-by-step plan of like how he was going to correct the issue.
Then it's okay. We can start our podcast. He's going about it the right way. Let's go.
And I was like, okay, I can still work with this person because it's like the try and the accountability that matters to me, not just like the action.
She's sweeping for herself.
So I think that, that's somewhat...
This is sweeping. Like, this is what... everybody's sweeping right anyway. If I defend somebody, I'm sweeping, right? If I... Honestly, like, Harley, this is a joke. I don't see this fucking witch being this forgiving.
Understandable from, a friendship perspective.
You rock.
I think that the thing that people are going to bring up, though, is that you guys aren't just friends. You're business partners.
And you're talking to somebody who will sweep. I will sweep. I will go to the... And I have. I will, because a lot of sweeping is I'm not laying down for my friend. And that's not what she's saying. She's saying the proper penance was fulfilled, so therefore I can still go do this. And I don't see it from Destiny's side. They're not the most remorseful people out there. They don't believe in it. They only believe in it for their side.
He's not just any business partner. He is, a massive liberal commentator who's constantly making moral judgments about other people's actions and behaviors. Meanwhile, he's got this going on. I mean,
especially that whore master Trump.
I think a big part of it is I think this really calls into question, if he even has a right to criticize other people's character and morals when.
Well, I mean, in fairness, Tom, he's been an out and out public bragging womanizer for years, and he lectures people on how women should be treated. That's funny to me. That's always been funny to me. I mean, how much of it is your fault? That's right. Yeah. Like the people who support him. How much he was always a womanizer. He crossed the line. He's like, but how can you say he cares about women when he's just constantly just putting them on he did kind of have a harem. President Sunday's kind of right on that one. You know what else is myth? Oh, wrong show. Okay.
I mean, it's one thing to be, to have everything else that he's done before, which, there's a lot, let's be honest, there's a lot, but I think this rivals all of that, definitely, in terms of severity.
Imagine what he didn't get caught for.
And it calls into question, his respect for other people's consent to, their own news being leaked.
You mean when he went on and on about boundaries and consent, he didn't really mean it? Really? You're kidding me.
It's now how can anyone possibly feel bad for him for getting his news leaked when he was doing that to someone else?
And if he can't lecture people morally, that means you can't either.
There's a lot of questions around this. And I mean, even on top of that, I mean, he's trying to be a serious political activist. And
look at it this way, Kyla, Aphrodite, whatever the fuck you call yourself. Even Harvey Weinstein's secretary went on to make a Star Wars show. So maybe that's in your future. Not the most popular one, but Star Wars.
Commentator. And he's, running around, messing around with all these Discord girls, sending. And I mean, this is not, to be clear, Pixie's not the only person who's been affected by this. I mean, there's been Lauren, obviously.
I've been personally affected by this. I'm very affected.
Different way, but he was sending messages, not too.
By the way, I don't think Tom did a bad job at all.
Too long ago.
I'm missing something. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to call the person who said Tom did a bad job, and he's going to tell me, why I'm wrong. Wrong, I'm going to say yes. But so far, I don't see it. But then again, I'll sweep for my friends. You never know.
That they had shared together, seemingly in confidence, that ended up getting leaked. There's Melina's allegation.
How do you fuck up an open relationship? That alone is a reason nobody should listen to him. All right, here's the thing about it. They don't exist, all right? As much as I'd like them to, believe me. Now, if my wife woke up to us, you've been a really good husband to me. That 25-year-old waitress is always really nice to her? Go throw her a bang. Sure. But you know what? I probably shouldn't do it because I know where that shit leads.
Obviously,
I think even Destiny's recommended against it, if I'm not mistaken.
Wife, who he, kind of painted as like a
absolute
crazy person, and there's this going on.
So it's like, work.
There's like.
You want an open relationship? Do it the old-fashioned way. Date a lot of girls. Date a lot of guys. Go to a party, get really drunk, and pretend you don't remember the night. Do it the old-fashioned way. It's an open relationship. You don't have to call her back, and he don't got to call you back. It was that night, it was that place, it was that good time. But the thing is, one of the two, usually the girl, don't see it that way.
It kind of calls into question. I mean, even people are saying oh, Mr. Girl was right. It calls into question his entire history in a way.
Mr. Girl was right.
I mean, it's not. It's
not up so bad that fucking creep is right.
Not just a question of you and him are just buddies, right? You're business partners.
Yeah, do it the big way. Be the old-fashioned ladies, man. Don't go around kissing and telling and say, "Hey, everybody, I get pussy and play StarCraft at the same time. It's amazing." You carry yourself real cool, like Vega, and he could have done that. He could have been a real cool sort of, Starbucks liberal that dressed sharp, former pro gamer. I'll kiss and tell. There could have been like a rumor that he's like getting all that ass. That's a lot cooler. You know?
He's a public figure. He's a public commentator where he talks about other people's actions. Like, do you think that's a huge concern?
Yeah, but the issue, it just is no longer like, the issue is like, this isn't a moral concern. This is now like business advice. Like if anyone said, do you think it's bad business strat? Probably to some degree, I suppose. Like it's probably better that I diversify and like look elsewhere because he is a brand risk. The issue is that like Steven does bad things. Steven was a piece of shit. He was negligent in this situation, right? He wasn't trying to hurt anyone, but he should have known better. And he does know better. And actions have consequences. And the reality is like,
Well, not from you.
wanted to see this resolve in a better way for everyone, right? That's obviously what I wanted.
You're a hero.
But when I was thinking
Fell on your
about
sword.
essentially like how I want to
She's
manage
ruining her brand because she just wants the best for everybody. Who would believe this shit?
friendship versus business, I basically decided that when it comes to like business and friendship, there are certain things that I have to draw the line on because I want to run like a treatment center in the future.
Everybody says it went downhill when that poor fireman got shot. I'd go farther back. You know when it really went downhill? When he was screaming at Alex Jones about taking Trump over the ballot and telling Alex Jones you're not a patriot if you don't want him over the ballot. Some weird argument like that with Destiny, and then the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 against him. That was the beginning of the crack showing. And on top of that, Biden's going to cruise to victory. You know, the really important stuff to him, being seen as right. That's when the cracks started showing.
And even friendships can't come before that.
I think that's like in the beginning of one of Tom's documentaries.
Because that's why I'm in social media, is to like gain the money and the network necessary to fund that without having to rely on like churches, basically. But I also decided that I want to act with my friends in the streaming world the way that I would act if the public eye wasn't like looking at everyone and there wasn't like optics and narratives that I had to like obsess with, because I feel like so much of relationships.
This is bullshit. She wants you to believe that this is what she would do if the cameras were off. That's what she wants you to believe.
On the
She said, I would do the same thing. I'm a Christian. My son Ben, he's Catholic, and he will come out here and he will do you. I'm a Christian. I got a soul.
that got monetized in a way that just like leads to this like incredible like
I'm gonna tell my son Ben, he's gonna do you.
And isolation, and I'm just
do
not
you.
willing to do that to my friends. And so
No,
like
you
business
fucking hero.
strategy wise, would it be better if I like dropped Destiny or not? Like
Yeah, it's lady, get off the cross. We need the wood.